Coach, can you talk a little bit about Notre Dame, please?
I mean, real good team. They're number 7 in the country, number 8 in the country. Our second top 10 team country we're playing our 4th top 25 team that we're playing. I mean, they're good. I mean, really good football team, like they always are. And we're gonna have our hands full.
Do you take? I mean, your team has to be able to believe that they can win this game when you know that Cincinnati went to Notre Dame and beat them on their home field, and you played Cincinnati almost dead even. So comparatively, you've got to feel like you can hang on the same field with this club.
Well, you got to go to every game like that, Wags. It's, if you don't, then you shouldn't play. But we also recognize how good they are. Probably in 2019, probably not one of the better teams that I've been a part of, if not the best team I've been a part of up there. We went in there and they crushed us. You know what I mean? And so it's Notre Dame. It's always a tough challenge, but we have to believe, Wags, that we can beat them. You know what I mean? That's where everything starts. If you don't have any belief, then you got zero chance. And you got to start every game believing that you got a chance.
So you have beaten Notre Dame during your time as head coach, and you've also been an assistant with Navy teams that beat Notre Dame. What's the key to getting it done?
You got to play well. You got to hopefully they make some mistakes, and you got to get some luck. I mean, that's just the truth. I mean, it's we got to play as well as we can play, and they got to help us a little bit.
One of the things that I was going to ask you about is big plays. And, it was actually on my podcast. Keenan Reynolds was the first one to mention. I hadn't really thought about it, but he's like, the key to scoring is you're going to get some big plays along the way. And it doesn't seem to me like Navy's getting many. And then Strauss filled us in that you rank very low in the nation in explosive plays, whether it be 15, 20, 30, 40 yards. Now you got a big one with Carlinhos Acey, which you see immediately that sets up a scoring opportunity. Can you talk about the lack of big plays that Navy's had to date and the fact that you would need more? I mean, you can't always have 16 plays, 80-yard drives or 14 plays, 75 yards. That's hard to do. And it seems like that's for the most part, how you score is with the long drives. It'd be nice to get short fields once in a while when you break a long run or pass, right?
Most definitely. I mean, we went in 2019. I can't remember how many we led the country in explosive runs. I can't remember 40, 30, over 40, 20, 10. And, we need some more explosive plays. It makes it harder to score, like you said. Sometimes it helps you, though, because you eat the clock. You know what I mean? So when you possess the ball, their offense is on the sidelines. But if you're going to do that, you have to score. But being able to be that efficient all the time, like you said, Wags, is hard. I mean, everybody's looking to make explosive plays. On defense, you're looking to limit them. In offense, you're looking to get explosive plays. And you're right, we haven't had many.
So is there anything that's key to making those happen? I mean, like what Carlinhos did, I mean, it broke perfectly and he hit a hole and was gone. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's one thing helps another. If you're running the fullback and having success, they start committing guys to fullback then you pitch it and there's not as many guys out there, similar to if you're running the fullback or getting the ground game going, then you go play action, you might hit a bomb. Is that kind of the key? The offense sets up big plays?
And a lot of it's how people have been playing. I mean, people have been making us play that way. The coverages have been really soft and making us grind it out, and people have been okay with to give us 3 or 4 yards and just kind of play that way and let us bleed it out and see if we can execute it that long, so yeah, but we have to get more explosive plays.
All right, I'll pass it off to someone else.
Go to Pete Medhurst.
Coach, your defensive effort the other night, fantastic. And, we've seen closer and closer to a complete game over the last couple of weeks. How close did you get, with the exception of the end of the game there on Friday night?
Thought we played really well. I thought we played really well. There's, New will tell you there's always stuff that you can do better in assignments, and and I thought we played really well on defense.
How during the season, especially in a game week, we've talked about this in the past, but what do you do to try and get individual development better? Because you've had to use a lot of players on both sides of the ball, particularly the offensive line and certainly on the defensive side with the injuries. Have you had to extend periods of individual development just because you've had so many young new players, or is it still status quo the way you've run your periods?
No, it's the same. I mean, we can't extend it here at the academy. NCAA wise, you only have a certain amount of time, but we don't even come close to our time. But our guys gotta get going after practice. They got to shower and get treatment, and you got dinner and military, duties and obligations. They got to study. We'd like to be longer. We'd like to start earlier if you could and get your full allotment of time. But in the course of the day for our players, there's just not time. Our coaches are doing a good job of continuing to teach. A coach is a teacher, and so you do your best in all you do in meetings, your drills, group work, teamwork, handouts that you give, videos. I mean, just a whole, plethora of things that you use to teach. You got to use them all. And to the kids' credit, the guys are learning a lot of it by fire. But we have no other alternative. But we just got to keep grinding, but our time is still the same.
You've got some youth at the defensive end positions, guys on the outside. Busick obviously had another terrific game, back-to-back games with a sack. Justin Reed really stepped up and gave you a couple of really good plays in the snaps that he was afforded the other night. Surprised at all that you're seeing these young players with so much that is on top of their plate as young players at the academy, that in the middle of the season here, they're still able to give you a solid amount of production?
Well, it's a testament to Coach Downing, who I believe is as good a football coach as I've been around, a great teacher, a great, he's a great football coach. He does a really good job of teaching. He's a clear teacher. He he maximizes the talents. But I saw that early on when he first came here coaching, Nazir, Cromartie, all the guys that he's coached over the years. I mean, he's done a really good job of, coaching them, getting them to improve. Great testament, obviously to the players, first and foremost, to Busick, Nick Straw, guys that have played. Nick last year was pretty much the first year that he played. Now, Justin Reed's doing some good things, but it's, Coach Downey's done a good job, and the guys have done a good job of buying in.
Finally, just getting out on the perimeter, finding more and more. Carlinos, Rojas, and Warren the other night, terrific. It's just a matter of more consistent blocking out on the perimeter that are opening up those plays, because the other night we saw wide receivers, saw James out in front of a play, a key play, get you 13 when you needed 10 for a first down. Is it just cleaner execution right now?
Spotty, I thought in the second half we did a better job of executing. But there's a lot of things that have to go right. But I thought the guys did a better job. We can continue to get better. Normally when you have long runs, guys are blocking for each other. Ty's doing a good job of distributing the football. But I thought they did a better job of blocking for each other, O-line and perimeter blocking in the second half.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Kareem Copeland.
Hey, Ken. I wanted to ask, once you got to, went back and looked at tape, how did kind of, not exactly grade out, but just wanted to ask about Ty. How did he do? What did you like about what he did? What's a couple things that still need to improve?
I thought we started off sluggishly, and I think he could have been a little bit sharper to start the game. But as the game went on further and further, I thought he played really well. He didn't take that sack, at the end of the half that, maybe they could have stuck there and throw it. And I asked him, how come he didn't, throw it? He's like, Coach, I didn't want to take a sack. So, he's being smarter, playing better. But I thought as the game played, went out, he played well. He graded out. I mean, he was a player of the game as voted by offensive coaches. So, and he did a good job.
Curious, how good was this just for the psyche of everybody? I know everybody had, stayed in a pretty good mode despite the losses, but how not gratifying isn't the word, but you work so hard all the time, and to finally see the benefits of that, come out successful with all that. How good was that just for the entire group? Because it's hard to work hard every day and not be successful.
No, I was going to say gratifying, satisfying. I mean, all of it. I mean, I think you're right. I mean, Kareem, all of it is just, you want to see fruits of your labor. You want to go plant some stuff. You don't want to see your fruits come out and they're burned or anything, or they died on the, what I mean? So to see that, all the hard work and all the planning and all the harvesting, came out. And so happy for our players. They've been awesome. Just, the resolve of this team, to continue to work. Been super impressed with them, starting with our seniors and our captains. But it was really, like I said, I don't know a better word, but very gratifying for them, and very happy for them, Kareem, that we're able to get a win for all of their hard work.
As far as timing, is it very good timing considering, you got to be confident going against the Notre Dame team, and this was a good time to get a little boost of confidence?
Well, we need any momentum we can get, what I mean? We need all of it. And so it doesn't do anything but help us. So, that win definitely give us some momentum going into play a really, really good Notre Dame team, as they always are, but we definitely needed it.
Appreciate you. I'll give it up for now.
Scott Wyckoff.
Hey, Coach, over the last 2 weeks building into this game against Notre Dame, what do you like about your team that you've seen build over the last couple of weeks that you can take into South Bend?
I don't know if it's just this last couple of weeks. I've just been encouraged by really the whole season. Our guys just continue to keep coming to work. I've just been impressed with their resolve and their determination just to come and attack every week. So, as Kareem's question is, finally to see some results from that, I'm really excited. But Scott, they've been doing it for a while. They haven't quit. And to me, the play that symbolizes where we're at as a football program is Mikey's play at the end of the half. Probably the biggest play of the year. I mean? It's definitely that, to me, that game, that was the play that won the game. I mean, that was a 4-point swing there. And so, I mean, that was a huge, huge play. But what a great example of been very easy to give up. He scored, but Mikey, kept going. And, that stop allowed us to have a goal line stand. And I just remember as that happened, I just remember my college coach told me, always saying, I mean, you always do all you can on defense to give yourself another chance to play another chance to play defense. And that's what he did. Gave us a chance to play another down on defense. And fortunately, we were able to keep him out of the end zone.
I know when you recruit at Navy, a big part of it, part of the equation is players knowing they have the opportunity each season to play Notre Dame. What have you seen in the eyes of your players when they've played Notre Dame that you see that you expect to see again on Saturday?
Well, I've played them so many times there that I've seen a lot. I've seen starstruck, in all amazement. And I've seen some guys that had steely eyes and they were ready to go and they were determined to win and determined to play well. And, I've had looks of bewilderment, it's unbelievable atmosphere, one of the best atmosphere in college football. And so it's a great opportunity for our guys, but we're not going there. It's not like we're going to an amusement park or something just to look at the facility. We're going there. It's a great place, but if we go there, as tourists, I mean, they're going to crush us like they did last time.
I know the leadership from your senior class is so important. I would imagine, would be even more important this week, having been the ones that have really been the only players in this team that have played at Notre Dame Stadium and able to help some of their teammates know what to expect?
Yeah, and you do your best. They try to do their best to help them. We try our best, but all you do is prepare for the game between the white lines. It's still football. The size of the field, all the dimensions are the same. So those are the things you worry about. You do your best not to worry about the other part. You try to get ready for crowd noise and all that. But at the end of the day, it's a football game against a really good team, and you got to be on point with, everything that you do.
Does that fight song ring in your head even more so this week while you're playing it in practice to get you guys ready?
No, what more in my head is the size of their football players. More than the song can't beat you.
Right. Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck Saturday.
Bye, Scott.
Phil Bergman.
Coach, because of the pandemic last year, the game didn't happen. So after a year off, what does it mean to take on Notre Dame again?
I mean, never even thought of that. Just recognize we got another team and a really, really good team. It's Notre Dame. Whether we played them last year or we didn't play that has no bearing this year. I never even thought of that. It's just recognizing that we have to get ready against a really, really good Notre Dame team at their place. And they're, in the mix for, a national championship run, a playoff team. There's a lot of one-loss teams, and they're one of them. And so all of those guys are vying to be because there's a lot of things that happened this last month. And I know they're doing all they can to situate themselves to be in that conversation. And so that in and of itself tells you how good they are. Within 3 weeks, we played two teams that are in playoff contention. I don't know if that's ever happened in my tenure, but it is what it is.
I guess following up on that, what's so special about this rivalry? I mean, it's pretty incredible that Navy every year gets to play against such amazing teams.
Just the history of it, Phil. It shows you, what Notre Dame represents. There's, everybody wants to play Notre Dame, get a rivalry game or get a series going with them, but they've been true to their word and recognized in what the Naval Academy did for them and the Navy did for their school. And, the credit again to the leadership of that school of they continue to pay us back by playing us. Now, us that have our players that have to go on the field, I don't know if there's, they're the guys that have to go and face those big, fast guys. But, it's Notre Dame. They're one of a top 5 school in the history of college football. In their history, they're probably number 1, just with everything involved. Maybe if you say winning and all that stuff, probably Alabama's number 1. But them, Notre Dame, Alabama, Michigan, Oklahoma, Seattle. I'm just rambling right now, but they're one of the top schools football-wise in the country. And so it's a great honor to play them. Like I said, we don't want it to be a charity deal either. We want to be competitive, but it's hard. It's hard to be competitive against them because they have a lot of good players, and Coach Kelly and his staff are, one of the best staffs in the country. Coach Kelly's a really, really good football coach, smart man, great leader. And so it's always hard for us to beat them because you got that combination of talented players with great coaching staff, and that's a bad combination for us.
Kip, Pierce Banbury left the game. Is it look hopeful that he'll be able to come back, or any word on him?
Probably right now, doubtful to questionable. So,
how did Murtazy play in his first career start? Did you feel he did a good job?
I thought he did some good things. It's his first start. But I thought he did some decent things. So inside you got 3 sophomores in there. It just, but there's always the good and the bad. They're learning, but hopefully we'll continue to get better. You see, when you always see the best offensive lines, you see this guy had 24 starts, this guy had 22 starts, and the starts, there's a ton of starts. And so hopefully this will be the building block, Wags, of some young linemen. But Cortese has all the tools, Wags. And he'll only get better.
And last for me, Notre Dame's got a couple of horses on the defensive end, defensive side of the field. One guy really sticks out is this Isaiah Foskey. He ranks highly and nationally in a bunch of different individual statistics, sacks, tackles for loss, that kind of thing. Just Foskey jump out on film?
Well, we just started watching them. Yeah, and I mean, obviously a lot of their guys, but he does stand out. Good football player. You know what I mean? But we're, kind of right now formulating our game plan with them. But like normal Wags, yes, super talented. He's a good player, can run, got length. You know what I mean? So like a long line of, really good defensive ends that, have come out of that place.
Thank you.
Wags.
Pete.
Coach, you've competed against Coach Kelly now for a while, and he's withstood the test of time at Notre Dame, which, as we know, is as big a pressure cooker as there is. And he's lost coaches through the years, and yet he loses Clark Lee. He replaces with a Marcus Freeman. Through the years, have you seen many changes philosophically from them, or have they just kind of refined things and stayed to the same philosophy, particularly using those big offensive linemen, that they've had through the years there at Notre Dame?
I think Coach Kelly is one of the best coaches in the country. I mean, and that's not a revelation. I mean, you're not going to coach at Notre Dame unless you're a good ball coach, and you're not going to stay there that long unless you're a great ball coach. And I think he's on track. Is he the winningest coach yet, or he's close? I mean,
he's there, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a surprise. I mean, the guy's a really good ball coach. He's smart. I know for many years he calls plays. I don't know how heavily involved he is, but it's still, I mean, in calling plays, I know he's heavily involved in all phases. But he's a really smart man. The thing I've found over the years in playing him is just he adapts well in games. We feel like we've gone to some games and we feel like, we might have sprung some new stuff on them and in him. And, he adapts really well in football games. And so his game management is as good as I've played against, and people say, well, he's got good players. Yeah, he's got good players, but obviously he recruited them, but also getting them on game day to execute a game plan and to change and scheme and make adjustments. I think he does as good as anybody. He's a great game manager of the game. And like I said, for many years, I know he's on offensive side of the ball. Still might be calling a ton of plays. Maybe he's heavily involved. I mean, I'm not sure how many, but the philosophy is always still the same. They match you with the ball. Their O-line's always well coached. Technically sound, smart guys. You can't rattle them with different things. They're really good at picking things up, and they sound that way. Sound physically and sound technically in what they do.
I just wanted to ask, what does that do for the psyche of the entire team? You guys been busting your butts, since the summer, and not having the success that you necessarily would like to have. So I'm just, how good of it just is it for the, mind, body, and spirit to finally kind of get over that hump a little bit?
It felt good, but I'd say we're still not even over the hump. We still have a lot of mistakes that we need to get cleaned up. And that's what motivates us even more, that we can be even better on our potential. We haven't even reached it yet. So that's a really good feeling.
This is kind of a random question. I want to ask a little bit about Coop and him being, captains of captains. So many good leaders on your team at a university that builds leaders. I'm just curious, as a teammate, someone who's there, what does it mean getting that designation to be named captains of captains?
I mean, it just shows you how good of a person he is. Like he is always active with everybody that he gets in contact with. Because if you're a stranger, if he knows you like his whole life, he'll treat you the same. And that connection that he builds with everybody is what makes him such a great leader, no matter who it is.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You're so
You're good.
Let's go to Scott Wyckoff.
Hey, Mikey, Scott Wyckoff with WBAL Radio in Baltimore. What goes through your mind on a play like that when you ran him down in Tulsa? Is it just the whole way thinking that you're going to get there? Or is there a point when you think, I got a chance to get him? What goes through your mind?
I mean, from the jump, you just have to trust. Like, I trusted in myself to, hawk him down, I guess. But it all starts from practice. We always run into the ball, burst into the ball, no matter what. Your backside corner, backside safety, backside lineman, you're taking that pursuit angle regardless of what's happening in the play, expecting to make the tackle. So it was just as expected, just to make that play.
Did you have any sense once you stopped him what that might mean for the team in that game?
I wasn't really thinking about it from a team aspect for like the late of the game. I knew that we had to stop them that drive and at least at the most give up 3 points. So felt really good. I felt very confident that once we just gave the defense another shot to stop them, and we were able to do that. So
you've played against Notre Dame as much as anybody on this team. What does this team have to do on Saturday to beat Notre Dame?
We just got to limit all the mistakes that we've made during that game. They're in Tulsa, they're in the rest of the season. Like we always beat ourselves, and that's a lot of teams are taking advantage of that. So we need to stop doing that. Facing Notre Dame, I feel like if we limit those mistakes and stop beating ourselves and make it us versus them and not just us versus us, we'll have a great game against them.
For a college football player, what does it mean to you to have an opportunity to play Notre Dame each season?
It's very exciting. It's a rivalry that goes way, way, way back, and it sucks that we didn't get to play them last year. It would have been fun to play them in Ireland, but just looking for the opportunity. It's fun atmosphere, and fun going up against athletes like that.
Having been there and done that and played them several times, what do you tell your teammates, the younger guys that haven't done it, so they're not in awe and they know that it's another game that they have to win?
Kind of exactly what you just said. I always say, like, don't let the moment get too big. It's another game. We're going to respect our opponent, but we're not going to fear our opponent. So that's basically it with that.
Thanks and good luck.
Thank you.
Bill Bergman.
Hey, Mikey, this rivalry as a whole, what does it mean to you?
I always see it like as a big game that's on our schedule. Like kind of like when we play Army, kind of like when we play Air Force. I view Notre Dame as one of those games on our schedule every year. So, obviously we treat every game the same, but this game has a little more meaning to it, going against athletes like that.
Coach mentioned that you guys are going there not as sightseers, you're going to win a game. What are some of the keys while you're out there?
Some of the keys are to really we preach this every game. We got to play hard. We got to have fanatical effort, and we just got to do our jobs. We can't, like I said earlier, we can't let the moment get too big. Like, you got to do your job and trust in everybody else to do the job, and we'll get the job done. We'll execute well.
You're listed at 5'9", 173. Notre Dame's known for having some bigger guys. For some of the smaller guys out there, is this a prove-it game to show that, even though you're not as big as them, you guys can handle yourselves and compete among the best of the best in the country?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're the biggest, you're the smallest. It doesn't matter. We're all athletes. We're all getting paid on scholarship. They're getting coached by great coaches. We're getting coached by great coaches. We're not going to treat it any the same. We're going to treat we're just going to treat them the same as always. Nothing to be fearful.
Bill Wagner.
Well, Mikey, what is your kind of tell me your remembrances of the games you played against Notre Dame, which I guess it's 2 total games now. Is that right? You've only played 2 Notre Dame games, right? Because you missed your junior year. What is your remembrances of the game?
Let's see. My freshman year, it was a big year. Coach Green gave me the start that year, and I just remember like, oh my gosh, here we go. Just went from high school, now I'm playing Notre Dame, and it really, like, corners like Cam, Ken Lee, Marcus Wiggins, Jared Ryan at the time, Sean Williams was safety, was the captain. they're all just like basically what I'm telling everybody now, like, don't let the moment get too big. Like you're here for a reason. Just trust in all the process that you've worked for. So it was fun. Like, it was going against NFL receivers, NFL running backs, and now Ian Book, NFL quarterback. It's really exciting to showcase that you can compete with these guys too. We didn't win freshman year. Sophomore year, we got blown out, and I think we got hit with a reality check then. I think we came in too cocky and didn't respect Notre Dame because we were ranked at the time my sophomore year. So, as Coach said today during our team meeting, he said we need to respect our opponent, but we're not going to fear them at all.
Well, obviously, I remember talking to Coach Newberry after that Notre Dame game in South Bend in 2019, and he was really upset because you all been playing such good defense, and they just shredded you both running and passing. What's the key to controlling a Notre Dame team? I mean, they're so big and physical, and they can win the line of scrimmage and establish the run, and then they kind of start to dictate.
Yeah, I think the keys this game is obviously stop the run, and I think the DBs need to step up this game so that we can let Coach Newberry be more comfortable calling more blitzes. So I think it's a big game for us.
So obviously, the last time Navy beat Notre Dame was, I think, 2016, which was before you arrived. I mean, do you feel like the players on this team believe they can beat Notre Dame on its home field?
Of course, there's never not a game we don't believe we can't beat a team. So, and I think beating Tulsa gave us great confidence. Obviously, we wanted the win over Cincinnati, but that helped give us confidence too, just to reinsure us that we belong here and we can do this.
Mikey, what's it like right now, turning behind you, looking over shoulder, going, hey, who are you? Because you all have played with a number of different safety combinations here over the course of the season, and thoughts on what you're seeing from some of those younger and inexperienced players who seem to be getting better and better every game.
Yeah, I feel like each game, they're getting those jitters, like freshman jitters, kind of like when you first start playing. And they're starting to get used to the environment, used to play calls and all the formations that they're given, getting used to the speed and athleticism of teams that we play. So I think as they get more and more experience, the better and better they'll get, and they've shown that.
How much of that is the details of the game, the little fine points of the game, as they try to get better? And as you know, being a corner, eyes in the wrong place one time can result in a big play behind you.
So you're saying like how we address like getting those?
How
details?
are they handling the details, the fine details that you have to make everything work?
Yeah, they're getting it well. I mean, we're trying to create like a hectic game environment during practice, and I think that's what's helping them prepare. When it comes game time, they're good to go because they've been here before.
What's it been like to play for Coach Green and the work that he's done, particularly with you and Jamal? And you guys have really excelled as a pairing out there on the perimeter defensively for you guys.
Yeah. Coach Green, each practice, he's always motivated and getting us as best as we can be during pre-practice, during practice, in the film room. He's always pushing us and motivating us to be better, and to never really getting us comfortable where we are. He usually humbles us and tries to push us to our max potential every day.
So, I mean, in a way, do you look at this as a chance of a lifetime to beat Notre Dame on its home field? I mean, if you were able to do that, Mikey, it would be a lasting memory. You would take one with you, forever.
I mean, each and every game that we win, I see it as a lasting memory to help push us to our goals. Obviously we can't. I don't think we're in the running for the conference championship anymore, but this win would help us push to a bowl game, and that's what we're looking forward to now. So it'd be a lasting memory in terms of that aspect. But I mean, beating Notre Dame would be amazing, but I'm treating it as another game. Can't let it get too high. Can't let the moment get too big.